In this video, I wanted to talk briefly about the Chapter 9 quiz. It's going to work very much like your Chapter 8 quiz. The directions are exactly the same. Make sure that you upload the file as an Excel file on Canvas. Excuse me. Make sure that you don't delete or edit any of the shaded cells because that's where your formulas are. So make sure you don't change those. And also, you guys know that I changed the due date to April 9th. Now, your file is probably going to say April 2nd right here, but it is due Sunday. So I see one of you, one student has done this. So this is not that hard. If you've done your homework, if you've done the problems, then you shouldn't have any problem doing this quiz. There's a couple things I did want to point out though, and I wanted to work one problem for you, just to remind you how it works. So if we go to the formulas, I just want to point out that sometimes in your problems you're given the variables as not as a dollar amount, but as a percentage. So for example, if you're given the flotation cost per share as a dollar amount, you would use this formula right here. If you're given the flotation cost per share as a percentage of the current stock price, you would use this formula or this table right here and just put in the percentage you're given here, and then your stock price here, and then that's going to compute your actual dollar amount right here. It's just going to multiply the share by the percentage of the flotation cost. Okay, now the same is true with your debt and equity financing. Sometimes you're given it as a straight dollar amount, and you need to also put in the dollar amount of the total assets in order to get the percentages for this formula. And then sometimes you're given it as just a percentage of the total capital structure, in which case you'd use this table right here, and also down here you'd use this one. Okay, so let's just jump back up to the top and look at our first problem, and just so you can remind you guys how this works. So we're looking at a firm's price of common stock, their before tax cost of debt, their tax rate, and we need to know what their weighted average cost of capital is going to be. So the first thing we need to do is compute the after-tax cost of debt. So we jump over here to the formulas, and we go up here, and we put the before tax cost here, the tax rate there, and we get our after-tax cost of debt, which is 3.6%. And then we want to jump down to our weighted average cost of capital formula, which is right down here. And we can put in our after-tax cost of debt of 3.6. Our cost of common equity is 10. Our total assets, let me just jump back and make sure I got this, 25,000. Our debt is 15, and our equity is 10. So back over here, total assets 25,000. Debt is 15 or 10. I believe. I'll check on that. And our equity is 15, or I might have done that backwards, but I did, didn't I? Let's see. It's debt is 15. Okay, debt is 15. Okay, and equities. That's important to get that right. 0, 0, 0, and that's going to give us our weighted average cost of capital, which, since I've done this already to make sure, yeah, okay, that is correct. So you just simply type in your answer here. Once you, so what you have over here, I'm not actually going to check. You can, use these to find the answers, but what I'm going to be checking is to make sure you type in the correct answer in the blue box on this page right here. Okay, so problem 1, you're going to be looking at the marginal cost of capital breakpoints. So you should, now there's a problem that you did in your homework very much like this one, so you shouldn't have any problem figuring out which formulas to use for those breakpoints here. And then you have a problem where you're going to be looking at the cost of debt, cost of common stock, and cost of new stock. So if you look at this, you can see this is one of those ones where they're giving you the flotation cost as a percentage. So make sure you use the right formula that actually has that has you put the those cost in as a percentage, and type your answers here. Problem 3. You're looking at, we want to calculate the after-tax weighted cost of capital, and it gives you your equity and your debt financing in percentages, not a dollar amount. So make sure you use the right formula over here. And I've actually reminded you right here. I've actually given you a little tip right there of which one to use. So you shouldn't have any problems. Okay. Where are we here? I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around here. Sorry. Okay, so now let's see. Problem 4 is probably the tough one. Read through this very carefully. I want to know. I want to know the first and second break points for a debt. I want to know the equity break point, and then I want you to calculate the marginal cost of capital for the projects as they accumulate. Now, I've made this easy in a way for you because I've put them in the order of highest return to lowest return, A through D, so you don't have to change the order, so that's going to make it a little bit easier. And I created a graph down here on your, I think it's right down here. Yeah, I created a graph so you can check your answers here with the graph. So you can actually see the breakpoints here, see the projects here, and your answers that you get with the formulas that you calculate should align with what you see in the graph. I didn't actually put the numbers in because you need to figure those out yourself, but you can see where they should be, right? Here, here, here. Right? So I also wanted you to visually again see how this would look, because the important thing for me is that you learn and understand why, not only how just to get the answers, the actual numbers, but what they mean and why we do this analysis in order to be able to advise which projects to do and which ones not to do. Okay, so that's your quiz. If you have any problems or confused about anything in here, don't hesitate to email me. It's already Friday, so the sooner you email me, the better. And I'll, it's going to be better if you, are having if you're having a difficulty with a quiz. If you email me late Sunday, there's less of a chance I will be able to answer you. I just might not see it. Okay, so try to do it as early as you can, and good luck.